Most residential contractors don't realize that the very first conversation that they have with a prospect can almost immediately determine whether or not they're going to work with you. And so in this training, I'm going to be showing you guys the exact scripting that my 7-figure contractors use internally to qualify prospective homeowners, take control of the conversation so that they're not walking all over you later on, and add value up front so that their customer experience is incredible and they start telling their friends and family about you. Not only am I going to be showing you the exact wording that you should be using on an initial call with the homeowner, but I'm also going to be breaking down why we have written it in the way that we have. If you don't know who I am, I'm Lev Parsegian. I'm the founder of Cosmosify, and we build systems for residential remodelers and custom home builders so that they can run a more smooth and profitable business. If you like this video, share it with a remodeler or custom home builder that you know, and let's get into the training. These are what we call the Cosmosify contractor initial call lyrics, right? And this is specifically the inbound script that we have our guys use. As you could probably tell, there's a very specific word that I use here, and it's called lyrics, right? And the reason why we use the word lyrics internally with all of our contractors is because scripts, you know, they have their own implications. With lyrics, the more that you get familiar with them, you want to be able to like memorize the words to the song first. And then as you memorize the words to the songs and you get really good at singing the song, you can put your own spins on the song. But the very beginning, you want to memorize every single word on the script that you're seeing, okay? And then you can iterate on it and make it your own, okay? I just want to make that super clear. And another thing that I want to make clear before I get into this is the exact same wording, the exact same scripts that all of our 7-figure contractors are using that we work one-on-one with. And we also train up their office staff, specifically if they have like an office manager and they are the ones doing the initial intake for leads, whether they be referrals or, you know, whatever traffic sources that they have. This is the exact same scripting. So like I'm not fluffing it up. I'm not showing you guys anything that it isn't. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys line by line what it is that you guys should be saying on these calls. And I'm also going to break down why we have written it the way that we have written it. We've spent loads of time, like a lot of time developing this thing, and also loads of money making this as amazing as possible. And so I guarantee that if you use this script, these lyrics, and you adopt it to your sales process and you're a remodel contractor, custom home builder, whatever the case is, I would find it very hard to imagine that you would not, one, be giving a better experience to the homeowners that are reaching out to you, and two, that you wouldn't have a better time, or an easier time rather, at closing these people, just because of the way that everything is structured. And so let's get into it. Let me just kind of like unblur some of this stuff and we'll go line by line. So first things first is where you're going to say, ring, ring. Thank you for calling Lev's Construction. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Okay. We start off calls like that because of the fact, guys, that everybody else, pretty much every single other construction company, their office staff, or you know, the contractors themselves, when they answer the phone, it's hello, right? Like they're just sometimes they're a bit much on the phones, and it's a bit intimidating. Or the office staff says, "This is XYZ Construction. How can I help you?" Right? And it's almost like this like fast food burger type of approach, which it doesn't really signal very premium. And if you're not going for premium, that's very fine. But a lot of times, like we work with really high end or higher end, intend to be higher end construction businesses on the residential side. And you know, if you just say, "How can I help you?" you're not necessarily going to give people the experience that you want to give them. So that's the first thing. And so you start off by asking, "Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?" And then they'll say, "Oh, my name is so-and-so." Okay, great. Right. And so then we get into the next part. Okay, great. And because my phone cuts in and out of service sometimes, is this the best number to reach you back in case we're disconnected? And okay, so like, why am I doing that? Because I want to be the one from the very beginning of the conversation to be commanding, or rather be the one that is asking all the questions, right? I don't want them to just like pick up the phone and just start talking, and then I have like zero control. Okay. And so we say, sometimes our phone does cut out. Is this the best number to reach back? Pretty self-explanatory. You just want to get them to say yes, or confirm their phone number to you. And this allows you, again, from the very beginning, to maintain control, and that is a very big part of this, is maintaining control. And then you just say, awesome. Well, Sherry, how can I assist you today? And then you get into it, right? And so I'm gonna kind of share here. So the prospect is either going to ask you for a quote, or they want to get information about your process and what it looks like, right? And so right here, this is where you're going to say, great. Well, I'm happy you called. I want to get a little bit more information from you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions right now. And by the end of this call, I'll let you know what's going to be the best next step for you and answer any questions you may have. Okay? Ready for it? And then this is where you say, just going to power through these questions, though, so stick with me. Ha ha. Okay, be genuine. I'm not saying like fake laughs, but yeah, that's the point. Then you say, fair enough. And they're like, yes. Okay, awesome. And now you get straight into it. And I'm going to share this. So prospect, they consent. And you say, okay, cool. I know it'll be hard, right? And you can laugh, but again, be authentic, as it says here. But why don't you give me the 45-second version of the idea that you had for your project? And as you can see in the tone, I specifically wrote lighthearted. And the reason why that is, again, is because you want this to kind of be like an easier conversation. You don't want this to be like a super overwhelming, we've spoken with 300 contractors and, we've gotten bids and we feel like we're getting screwed and da 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 da. You don't want that, right? Just give me like the 45-second version. Also, by giving them a timeline, they feel a bit more urgency to not talk so much. I know it's crazy, but yeah, when you tell people, hey, this is the timeline, I'm giving it to you, timer starts now, they subconsciously kind of have that in their head when they're telling you. And so yeah, so prospect will tell you their idea, okay, and then we're going to get into the next piece here. And the next piece is, so awesome. And where are you at as far as planning the project, right? But as far as planning the project goes, did you just start, or have you been shopping for a little while now? And then they're going to tell you, how long they've been doing all their planning for, and so on and so forth. And then you get into the next part, and let's do this. Okay, great. And the house is how many square feet? They'll tell you, right? Or if it's a new build, you can say something to the effect of, okay, and where specifically have you guys acquired the land? Oh, have you guys acquired the land? What process are you in terms of acquiring the land, and so on? But if it's a remodel, like how many square feet? And then they'll tell you the square footage. Sweet. And we typically like to do some of our own homework on the house layout to save time before seeing the house. So what's the address to the property? Notice, guys, how I'm not just like asking question. I'm giving the because. I'm giving the because before. And so I'm saying, sweet, and we typically do some of the homework on the house layout to save time before seeing the house. So we already told them the reason we're about to ask the next question. And so in their heads, they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to give you my property address, right? It's not like this like thing of like, I don't really, you guys are asking all these questions. I don't really know who you are. I just wanted to get a bid. I just want to get a number, this, and that, whatever. Okay. And so the prospect then at this point tells you their address. And you say, okay, so Sherry, here's what's going to happen. I'm looking at my calendar right now, and I'm going to pencil you in for our end-to-end, Lev's construction consult, whatever it is, and you can name your offer, your private design consultation, or your high T design consultation. You can name it whatever it is specifically that you want. That is your offer, but you say that, and then you go into a little bit more detail. And so we have a specific process with all of our guys where it's like the first step is we jump on a Zoom call together. So and then I wrote SP, so salesperson, can meet you face to face as quickly as possible. So that way I can make the best recommendation on whether or not we're going to be the right fit for you, whether or not we're going to be the right contractor for you. And don't worry, if it's a project that we feel confident we'll do a killer job on, the next step is we'll schedule your in-person meeting so we can come out and meet you and your family. Okay. And so then you get into this next part, and it says, looking at my calendar right now, I have 2:00 and 4:00 later today, or I can do, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Which times works best for you? This is really key, guys. So like this is like one of the biggest parts of the script. After you guys get like really like the basic information, you want to move them to a part of the sales process, which internally all of our guys know. It's called the value call, right? And the value call is the immediate next call after this initial triage, this initial intake call, because it's where we are able to shine and actually give value to people. I know it's a mind blower for so many, because so many contractors they're ready to, okay, let me give you the address. What's the best phone number for you? They don't even get an email address, so they put everything on the back of a napkin, and then they show up to the house, however it is that they show up, and then they start doing their measurements, and they figure out, okay, well, this is going to be this. We're going to demolish this here. The walls are going to go up here. We're going to have to reframe this, and blah blah blah, right? And they get so caught up in the details, and the customer, the homeowner, on the other hand, is just focused on what's the quote going to be, right? What we do is we actually slow down the sales process instead of speeding it up, okay? But in slowing it down, we're actually able to give more on the front end so they can trust us more on the back end when we're actually making our offer. And that is why we structure this the way that we do it. Don't ask me how I came to this, but again, like we have spent loads and loads of time making this the crispest possible process. Crispest possible process, yeah. Crispest process possible for all of our contractors. And it works. You just have to follow it, okay? And so you always want to make sure that you give some time suggestions, guys. And same day, next day, that's kind of like the general philosophy that we have. Why? Because if you were not following that, then the lead just kind of, drags their feet, and that becomes a whole problem. Okay, so what's next? Let's go to here, and let's go here. Okay. So then you say, sweet, and most of our homeowners have a partner, spouse, dog, or cat that they make decisions with in the house. Even if they're not fully involved in the process, I want them to be part of the conversation. Who's going to be that person for you? Right? Guys, this is our way of asking, who the heck do you make decisions with? Right? Because there is always, I don't care what anyone says, every single homeowner has another person in their life that they make really big decisions with. And we're talking about a home remodel here, right? We're talking about new construction. Okay, so unless this person is completely solo, which does happen, but it's rare because a lot of times it is families, there's somebody else involved in the process. And the way that we have written this out, and it works really freaking well, is you just say, most of our homeowners have a partner, spouse, dog, or cat, right? I'm trying to make it funny. That they make decisions with. Who's the person for you? Because everybody's got it, and then they'll tell you, instead of you being like asking the awkward question of, so like who makes the decisions in your family? That's such an awkward question to ask, especially if you don't have rapport with that person, right? Why the heck would they tell you? And so this is the way that we're able to confirm decision makers, actually get them to show up to the call. And then we say, okay, great, I'm sending you through the calendar invitation right now. Could you just share your email address with me? Okay, this is super key, guys. If you want someone to actually show up to an appointment, okay, send them the invitation then and there while they're on the call. Okay, and there's different softwares, that our guys use internally in order to do this, and do it in a more or less automated way. But by doing this on the call and getting the homeowner to then see it on their phone and confirm it, they have a way higher likelihood of actually showing up to the call, because it is a Zoom call, and two, taking it that much more serious, because we're setting up the frame, or we're setting up the agenda for them for what's to come. So the prospect, they share their email address. You say, great, and what's the email address for spouse, partner, daughter, son, whoever. And then they will share the email of the other decision maker. And then you say, okay, awesome. Can you just jump into your inbox real quick and confirm that you received that? Right? And then they're going to be like, yes, I did receive that. And you'll say, great, salesperson or I, or, if you're the contractor, right, or so-and-so, whoever, will join you. So Lev will join you for your Zoom consult at that time. Thank you for your time today, Sherry. We'll talk to you soon. And that's it. I mean, I can go into like the whole psychology behind all of this stuff, and like there's very very specific language that when I wrote this out that I used, and that's just because of the fact that working at some of the top sales organizations across some of the biggest companies in the U.S. You learn a thing or two about what actually works and gets people to commit. But we're talking about B2C sales here, guys, right? Like we're talking about homeowners. And so there's a very specific way of connecting with them and getting them to commit to the next step in the sales process. In this whole part, guys, using this whole script, it's the whole key is not to get them to buy from you. The whole key is to just get them to commit to the next micro step of your sales process. And then during every micro step, you have the opportunity or you have the ability to showcase or convey why you are good, okay? And why you should be trusted and why you should be liked and so on and so forth. I hope this was valuable. And I am looking forward to seeing how you guys take this and use it for yourselves. Like I was saying, there is an outbound version of this. So if you guys do like videos like this and you found it to be helpful, then let me know in the comments below. And I look forward to making more videos just like this, specific to the sales processes that our general contractors, our remodelers, our custom home builders use. Okay, sweet. I'm out.